Dear parents with always beloved children, Enid Blyton is an author known to English children for a long time. I am very happy that Polish children can also get acquainted with her work. It is literature inspired by fairy tales and folk tales, but it does not contain the horror typical of fairy tales. Are they the good children here, like 5, 9 years old, and those who don't like to be scared? I have here the perfect read for those sensitive people who don't like scary books. Tyrol, Erling and Mori embark on a journey to discover the true origin of Tyrol. The tracks lead to Tywiden, deep forest stretching between lakes Venner and Wetter. They are accompanied by Baroness Catherine van Zuyden, a dangerous journey. In the dark forest, full of predators, there are also invisible creatures, and in addition, jealous Catherine looks at Tyrol with hatred. Enid Blyton's books are wonderful. I have one at home who was read Ronja the Robber's Daughter when he was 4 years old, 3 times, and who read Harry Potter as a 9-year-old whole. But I also have a 7-year-old for whom Ronja is still too scary reading. And it was to little John that I read 2/3 of the Enchanted Forest. He read the rest himself because he couldn't wait. This is probably the best recommendation because it is his first serious reading, over which he sat for 3 hours without a break. The Enchanted Forest is a charming book that adults will enjoy as much as children. The Enchanted Forest is the most unusual forest in the world. The trees hum with magic spells there. The elves feast on toadstools. But the most amazing thing about it is the sky-high tree. A beautifully presented book, although the illustrations are not to my taste. 2 more parts of this series were also released, The Sky Tree and The Resident of the Sky Tree. Listening to Enid Blyton's book, we immediately know that the adventures of the heroes will end well. We don't have to worry about them, although they do get into trouble. And what are these heroes? 3 children, Joe, Franny and Beth, move with their parents from London to the countryside. What's so special about that, you ask? Well, actually it's nothing. The magic is just beginning. But for me, these children were completely unusual because the house was poor and they had to help their parents, and yet they were joyful, happy and obedient. Well, where is the magic? I'm already answering. In the countryside, children live on the edge of the forest, but not so ordinary. This forest is extraordinary, enchanted. When the children go to visit him, they feel a certain anxiety, and they immediately meet unusual inhabitants, elves, although for me they are closer to our dwarfs. The story unfolded in such a way that children immediately gain the sympathy and trust. However, this is only the beginning of their adventures. 3 siblings, Franny, Beth and Joy, despite the warnings, decide to reach the very top of this tree, where there is a passage to enchanted lands, to a different one every day. Why is the land of Skikuskok so tiring? Who has been kidnapped by the disgusting creatures from the land of red goblins? How can you escape from the spinning land that spins like a merry-go-round? Even more unusual characters live there. Sky Tree is full of unusual inhabitants. Mrs. Wash pours dirty washing water on everyone all the time. The Tin Fairy feeds the children delicious explosive cookies, and Mr. Moon lets them slide down the giant caution slide, but only if they come back and bring him toffees. Franny, Beth, and Joe know they must keep their promise and climb the Sky Tree again, though they are a little apprehensive about which land they will end up in this time. Above the tree, there are various magical lands that you can enter, but be careful because if the land moves, you cannot return to the earth. So our heroes end up in Mr. Rondel, the land of Je vous en prie, please again, or the Spinning Land, and to a few odd others too. They experience unusual, completely crazy adventures there and usually get into trouble there, but they can always count on the help of the inhabitants of the Sky Tree, Goldilocks, bears and elves. The Enchanted Forest is a charming fairy tale reading that reminds me a bit of an amusement park. It is equally colorful, and the changing attractions land can make you dizzy. Despite this world is not exaggerated. In my opinion, it is perfectly tailored to the needs of a young reader who, while reading, enters the world of imagination and, by the way, learns the right attitudes, gratitude, responsibility, and keeping one's word. Joe messed with a creature from the land of opposites and got himself into trouble. His sisters and cousin Rick, who until recently refused to believe that the Sky Tree and the enchanted lands on its top really exist, rush to help. The children are joined by friends from the Enchanted Forest, namely Mr. Moon, Iron Fairy, and Rondello. But where will they get the spell that will free Joe? Beloved, read to all your children beautiful stories about inhabitants of the Sky Tree. Curious Connie disappears into the wonderful wonderland of the blinds, and she lives from above the Sky Tree. No land that has gone is coming back soon. The girls, friends, Franny, Beth, and Joe are devastated. Only Rondello, a peculiar man, hand with spots, knows how to help Connie. But that means a trip to the land of giants. So the third volume of the Enchanted Forest series is an unforgettable adventure, but by Enid Blyton, one of the best authors of classic children's literature. The author has written dozens of books for children, also about Naughty, who finished work and wanted to play with someone, but all his friends were very busy. Fortunately, the Dina doll taught him a new game. He could play it alone, and in addition, it turned out he found a friendship. Everything seems easy with the friendly inhabitants of the toy town. Let the children hear a beautiful story about the fact that the wind-up mouse doesn't want to be little anymore. She decides to spray himself with flower food to grow taller. However, she soon found out that being big is not as pleasant as she thought. Finally, an appeal to parents, because I have the impression, let's say so unpopular, that we are so focused on the rights of the child and caring for his well-being that we forget about the fact that this child will one day be an adult and will have to find himself in the world of duties above all. You imagine books such as An Enchanted Forest remind us that children should be expected to the best of their abilities while not forgetting about time for fun and pleasure.